What is even going on with my hair right now? We think of hypnosis in terms of formal trance, but hypnosis is actually something we do every day. We do it through basic things like grooming, brushing our hair. It's actually hypnotic induction. Whether it's splashing yourself with water, the posture that you're in. I literally can't even figure out what to say to you as soon as I'm like this. I'm too chill to be making a video. And that's what I'm talking about. Depending on your posture, the context, the people you're with, these are actually all hypnotic anchors that change your state of consciousness. One of the best hypnotic anchors, of course, is your clothing. It's part of why I like wearing tie-dye shirts, colorful pants. Makes me feel like I can have fun. These loose and breezy pants just makes me feel like I can just throw my legs into the air. Yoga, dance, whatever. What you eat has an effect on your state of consciousness. This is just blended mango in the food processor, a little bit of freeze-dried raspberry powder for some extra punch, pinch of cardamom. Literally, those are the only ingredients. It's so creamy. Eating this makes me feel decadent. If you let yourself, the process of dressing up becomes the process of becoming someone else. Or better yet, a part of yourself that's just waiting to come out. Don't underestimate what a little bit of makeup or clothing can do. Hypnotic induction can be so powerful that it can change your allergies, prescriptions you need, literally your eyesight. Most drugs don't make it to market because in order to do that, they have to beat the placebo. Guess what the placebo is? Self-hypnosis. This is why dressing the way you did when you were younger can have such a powerful effect. You're basically using self-hypnosis to go back to a prior point in time. You ever notice how relationship patterns are harder and harder to break out of? They used to have a certain tone of voice, and then you suddenly remember 10 different past arguments, maybe 100 different past arguments where they had that same tone of voice, and you're already furious. And you realize they haven't even done anything wrong. That's a hypnotic anchor. And that is the power of dressing up. You start dressing the way you did during the dating phase, you start feeling the way you did during the dating phase. Am I vain? Or do I just like different states of consciousness? I could talk to you forever about hypnosis, but I want to tell you about this character that I'm becoming right now. Because it's part of me, and it has different sensitivities than the rest of me. The leather is so worn. I've had these spikes since way before I was legal. I first started creating this character when I was just in the 4th grade. I modeled her after various dark, seductress characters that we see in books and movies. I liked that she was powerful, that she could use her beauty and perhaps lack of empathy to make things happen for her, which was very appealing to a frankly sickly, weak child who was just starting to go through puberty. If you're familiar with parts work, you know there are vulnerable parts and there are protector parts. And protector parts are usually on the outside. They're usually a part we use day to day to protect the vulnerable parts of ourselves, and these parts are created through trauma. This part that I'm currently in the process of becoming is a hidden protector part. It's a part I don't show every day. It's a protector part I created because I knew it would keep me safe, and yet it turned out that it was frankly too narcissistic to be actually likable. And yet it had so much power. It is such a good defender of myself that this part doesn't have the same histamine sensitivities, smoke sensitivities. This part of me has put on high heels, walked across town wearing nylon that would normally make me itch. It took me a while to figure this out, but you could blow cigarettes in her face and instead of coughing, she would just look down on you. This isn't my everyday self. It's a part of me that I enjoy being, because who wouldn't enjoy being just a little bit more powerful for a little while, all in costume. I've had these since I was 17, I want to say. My third love bought them for me, I believe. He was someone who could interact with this part of me. He was someone who could challenge me at my most self-centered, and I really enjoyed that we could both be that harder, harsher personality together. And don't get me wrong, even though this is a cherished part of self, because hidden parts always are cherished parts of self, the quickest way to break the trance is if a loved one is in like real pain, they actually need me. I'm gonna snap the right out of it and be there and be empathetic for them. True narcissism, when it's not an act, is when you are incapable of accessing your empathy because your shame will protect you from any negative emotion, any sense of inferiority whatsoever. Empathy. Playing a narcissist as a character, when it's not who you are. All the parts have a heart. It's more like you put up that shield, that type of persona, but you still have access to all other parts of yourself on demand as needed. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you've probably seen this part before. I might as well tell you my name. I'm Claudia. Claudia. I don't generally ever admit this to anybody, but I am a performance. But I'm also real. One of the things that triggers all of my parts is when they try to tell me that these various protector parts, these various performative parts aren't real, aren't authentic, aren't a part of the self. How much gaslighting and invalidation could you possibly give a person as to tell them that? The thing is that most of your personality is a protector part. The vulnerable parts very, very rarely come out, and if you're going to call to the only real parts, you might as well have just told everybody on the planet that 99% of them is inauthentic and fake. Rude. One of my personal favorite topics is just simply happiness and self-fulfillment, and I've found that one of the ways that I'm personally happiest is when I get to be all the parts of myself. All the parts. These here all represent like different parts of myself. I didn't know that as a child. That's just sort of psychology 101. The characters you create represent parts of you, whether you're an author or you're playing with dolls or role-playing in a D&D campaign. Feminine power, feminist movement, I can do it type of character. My own internal idea of like what male power was. Like Mrs. Innocent, she was like, I'm saving myself for marriage, you know, dark internal goddess. This is not a part that I would spend more than 1 to 3% of my time in. Parts make me whole. I want to be all the parts. If you do a lot of parts work and you take notes on your experiences and you start naming your parts and whatever, and you know, it's all kind of made up because it's all fluid, you know, unless you literally have a split personality disorder. Just for most of us, you just sort of more like have those hypnotic anchors, those different states of consciousness, the version of you that goes to work, the part of you that knows how to do customer service if you have that part, the part of you that knows how to do sexy time, seduction, absolutely hypnotic induction, by the way. We have all these different parts. In my case, in my document, I've got 20 named parts, and I would like to be able to spend some time being all those parts, at least 1% of the time each. So this leaves me with a very poignant question. Where is that person that I can be all of my parts with? How would the person that can be with all of my parts recognize me when I don't show all of my parts? Even this part, which is a less shown part, a less inhabited part, I do like at least dressing up this way, displaying just a little bit of it for the camera, mostly in an aesthetic sense, without an actual taste of what it would be like to interact with, of course. Nevertheless, there's so many parts of me that have never seen a camera, and they certainly don't go out dancing. So how do I find a match for those parts? If you got the ideas on this, please do comment below. I'd love to also hear your experiences and about your parts and what parts of yourself you like to dress up as. And now for a really big question. Do I sacrifice the look by adding some kind of purse to it, make it less danceable by carrying around a heavy phone? Do I cause myself to overheat? Theoretically, maybe I now have pockets to carry all my stuff in. Except no, wait, this coat's too cool to have pockets, or so it thinks. What is up with fashion clothing and the lack of pockets? This is Raiderly, or possibly Claudia, signing off.